Black Supremacy. This is Palmetto Star, the Ratchet Revolutionary, but you can call me Prophet. Prophet Rovetta, Black Supremacy. And today on Meditation with the Master, fulfilling my promise to y'all to break generational curses every single day of Black History Month, now known as Black Supremacy Month. We are going to break the curse of childhood trauma. Now I want to address one thing first, because, and it may seem unrelated, but something, when I get in the studio, one of the rules is not to scroll through other people's material, to concentrate on your own content. However, I stepped out of the studio for a second, and to Raw for TV printing press and studio. I stepped out of the studio for a second, and I scrolled a little bit, and I saw this story of this child who was selling N-word passes to his classmates in elementary school. Now, he was selling N-word passes to his classmates. And the poster was a black person, and for some reason, the child made $1,000. This is an elementary school black child, and he made $1,000 selling N-word passes to his black schoolmates somewhere in America, and he made $1,000 doing that. And the black poster thought it was a win. He thought that was a win. I thought about it. I'm like, no, that's not a win. I'm sorry, that is not a win. And especially on Black History Month, that's not a win. That's exploitation. Now you have these children, these pink pubescent punks, who think they can go around saying nigger to black people. And I'm sorry, if I encounter one of these pink pubescent punks saying nigger, and they're saying nigger to me, it's gonna be a physical confrontation with this child. So you know what I'm saying? You are endangering these pink pubescent punks' lives and livelihood, and their parents are going to get involved and all sorts of stuff, because I'm not going to let a little child call anybody a nigger. I'm not going to let a pink person call somebody a nigger in my vicinity and not do anything. I don't care if you're a child or not. You know what I'm saying? So you are just furthering this mental disorder of entitlement and pink privilege by saying, "Oh yeah, you guys got a nigger pass. You can say it. I'm gonna let you say it." And then you're turning your elementary school into a southern plantation. And nigga is gonna start turning to nigger, and it's gonna get and all that stuff is gonna be a southern plantation all over again inside your child's school. This is why you don't need to be putting black children in public schools. Because stuff like this, you got children selling nigger passes, thinking they call other black children niggers and all that other stuff like that. Like, no, that's not a win. I'm for black children getting resources, but that's not the way. That's not the way. Selling nigger passes, and you think it's cool to call a black person a nigger, and you think you're gonna call a grown man a nigger? Oh no, child. I don't care. You would get some real childhood trauma, like we're talking about, messing around calling me a nigger. I don't care how old you are. So, childhood trauma, breaking the curse of childhood trauma. So childhood trauma, you deal with it just like physical trauma. You had to eat good, get a healthier diet, exercise, so that you could balance out what happened in your childhood. But the first thing that you have to do when dealing with childhood trauma is to move away from where the childhood trauma happened. You have to. That's necessary. That's completely necessary to move from where you can't heal in the place that you were hurt from. You can't heal in the place of hurt. You have to move away from the hurt, whether it be sexual molestation or just bullying or parental abuse or any sort of thing like that. You have to move away from that situation. You can't expect to heal in the same place that you were hurt at. You can't heal in the place you were hurt at. So you have to move away from that. That's just first and foremost. You have to move away from it. Deal with it like you would deal with any sort of physical trauma. Physical trauma, you deal with it. You work out, you exercise, you make sure that mental space is massaged, is taken care of. And the way you do that is by talking to your ancestors. Talk to your ancestors. And talk to yourself if you cannot access the ancestors, if your Akashic mind cannot extend to the ancestors. Talk to yourself. I'm not an advocate for therapists. I'm not an advocate for therapists. I think they have done more harm for the black community than good. I know therapists told me when I was a child. Now talking about childhood trauma. When I'm in high school, I'm talking about freshmen in high school. They said that not to expect to live past 21 and stuff like this. This therapist, grown therapist with college educations, telling young black children, well, the way you're going, the route that you're going, I don't expect to see you live past 21. I had a lot of childhood trauma growing up in South Carolina, a lot of racism I had to deal with, being called a nigger in elementary school, having to fight these young children thinking they got a nigger pass, just like I was talking about earlier, thinking you got a nigger pass, and it wasn't the GGA nigger, it wasn't the hey my nigger, it was nigger, get the fuck up, and you had to, and I'm not accepting that. I never was accepting of that, and so I would it'd be fighting, it'll be fight, you know what I'm saying? So I fought a lot in going to public school. I fought a bunch. I got expelled and I got suspended a lot, growing up and going and dealing with these schools. Not expelled, but suspended. I got suspended a lot dealing with these people and dealing with childhood traumas. People think, I remember in middle school, I was, going into band and I wanted to play the trombone. The teacher, Mr. Santiago, I never forget. Fuck you, Mr. Santiago. He told me my lips were too big to play the trumpet. And I told my people, somehow that just slid and never got addressed as the racist fuck shit that it was. It never got addressed. And he ended up going to jail. He may still be in jail for touching young children, little girls. He was in his band class, like 7-year-old little girls. And you see racists and childhood sex offenders, child sex offenders. It goes hand in hand when you talk about the pink power terrorist. So yeah, but fuck you, Mr. Santiago. You're a racist bastard. So I had to deal with that childhood trauma. And then, had to deal with, like I was always in like advanced English classes. always a writer. I was always in advanced English classes, things of that nature. But being in those advanced classes and you are the only black person amongst a bunch of pink people, children, and different things of that nature, that is traumatic in itself because they're going to pull that racist shit. And they're going to pull it. And matter of fact, in a lot of those situations, they rehearse it. They rehearse the racism before they do it to you. Just to see how you react. You know what I'm saying? That's just to see how you react. I remember, now this is, now everybody knows I do hip hop music, but it's before I was doing rap. I was a freshman in high school, and we were talking about William Shakespeare, these people that they put out there and, perpetuate for pink power. But, they were like, oh, well, you go ahead and do a rap. Can you do a rap for Shakespeare? Now, everybody in the class, right? The teacher picks me out of the class just because I'm the only black child, of course, and they're like, well, and they just assign me with that. You are going to do the rap for William Shakespeare. Why are we doing a rap for William Shakespeare? I don't know, but. You are the one doing it, black man, black child, nigger. You're the one doing it. So, that being said, growing up in a racist environment, I dealt with a lot of childhood trauma. And that's just racist. There's a whole lot of other stuff that I'm not going to talk about during this meditation with the master that I dealt with growing up in South Carolina. And dealing with these different things. But go ahead, Google Columbia, South Carolina, Broad River Road. You already know what's happening over there. But so I had to deal with a lot of different things going on and during that time period. And I didn't even realize all the stuff that I went through until I even moved to Atlanta. So into my adult years and just reflecting on these different situations and different things, I was like, wow, that was racist. That was wow. I didn't even think about it like that, because when you're in the midst of the problem, you don't even know that you are part of the problem or that there's a problem. Okay, there's an example I use. I have used it a couple of times. I may have used it on here before. But 1 + 1 = 2. That's a simple solution. However, you can only see it from a bird's eye view. If you are the one, and you are the one, you don't know that the answer is 2. Because you are in the midst of the problem. You are in the problem. So how are you going to know what the solution is if you're in the problem? So that's why talking to ancestors, getting that sort of talking to yourself, just writing it down, writing and getting it and just seeing what happened during your childhood is essential. It is so essential because you're able to analyze and see and come up with the solution and be able to see things from a different perspective. That's what you have to do to be able to address problems. You have to see it from a different perspective. If you don't see it from a different perspective, then you are just stuck in the problem. You are part of the problem. You're part of the problem if you can't see it from a different perspective. And you're not even going to know it. You're not even going to know there's a problem. For the most part, you're not even going to know it's a problem. You're just going to be like, well, I'm one. You're one. And then you're not going to know it's a problem. You're not going to know. So we have to look at things from a different perspective, talking to your ancestors, writing things down, and doing that, analyzing from that point of view is a good way to do that. Is an absolute fantastic way to do that. So that is a great way to do that. And You had to breaking free from that childhood trauma. Because, we all had different degrees, especially black people. I'll say I'm just addressing black people. I'm only just addressing black people. We do have different degrees of trauma growing up in these environments that have to be addressed. I don't care if you grew up in the most slummed out poverty situation, or you grew up in the most privileged spoon in your mouth, silver spoon in your mouth situation. We all have these different things growing up black that we had to deal with, And I'm an advocate of black people moving to Atlantis to address that problem collectively, to address these issues collectively. And that's what needs to happen. And I've been a part of many healing circles that were very productive, to people, and being able to take that to the next level, So it's definitely something that needs to happen. So, so we had to deal with our childhood traumas. Once we are able to move, once we are able to eat a balanced diet, because the balanced diet, the exercise, drinking water. Do you know how helpful that is to your mind? Just having a good diet. Do you know how helpful that is to your mind? So you have to get into that. You have to break. That's a way to break these childhood traumas. So, speak to your ancestors. Meditate. Get into your vision, into yourself, and go into your purpose. Walk in your purpose. Don't let childhood trauma or anything distract you from your purpose. Because all of it ultimately is a distraction. All these childhood traumas, all of these generational curses that I'm talking to you about, because we're winding down, so I'm going to get into bringing it all in. I'm bringing it all in because even though we have addressed all of these issues separately and broke the curse of all of these issues that are happening to black people, to black children, to black men, to black women. All of these issues that we're breaking the month of February, all of these generational curses that we're breaking the month of February, all of these things have a holistic solution. All of these things. So all of these things have a holistic solution. So we have to realize that and recognize that and deal with that in a holistic way. And that way is black supremacy, is to walk on the path of getting to your path of godhood. Because all of these things are distractions. When it comes to even the soul food we talked about earlier this month. When it comes to childhood traumas, when it comes to any of the issues that we talked about this month, all of it is a distraction. You're not cursed, you're distracted. You are distracted. You're not cursed. You're distracted. So I want to address that. 3 steps to end racism right now is a way to break free from the loop that we find ourselves every 150 years and break free out of that cycle and get into a new space, a space of true healing, of true sovereignty, of true supreme nature. So that's what it's about. 3 Steps to End Racism right now. Check the link in my bio. You can read it for absolutely free. However, I encourage every single person to get the hard copy. Get the hard copy. Get the hard copy today. Get the hard copy. I will ship it to you, signed copy. I will ship it to you and sign it for you. I will ship it to you. I will sign it for you because it is that important. Because as someone that has been deplatformed, because I was mentioned on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, I already know that the information on 3 Steps to End Racism right now is not internet friendly. It's not fact checker friendly. It's not friendly towards pink people. It's not something that they're going to want you to read because it's empowering. So you need to get it, need to get that, and I will ship it to you because they can't censor your coffee table and they can't ban your bookshelf. So everybody needs to get a hard copy of this. But please read it online because it is important that every last single black person reads this or is being read to them. That's why I'm getting it translated right now in several languages. The next language that is going to get translated into is Portuguese. Shout out to Ali, who is currently translating it in Portuguese for our people in places like Angola and Brazil that this material is definitely needed for. So, go ahead and get that. You can support the movement via Cash App at $Palmetto Star. And also, you can get exclusive content on my Patreon and become a patron and support the movement that way. That's at patreon.com. You can call me Prophet. So ride me, y'all. Mark your calendars for May 19th. If you want to get a glimpse into what Black Supremacy is, May 19th you need to be in Atlanta for Malcolm X Day. We're not asking permission to take a day for our progressive leaders. We're claiming Malcolm X Day. It's his born day on May 19th, and so we're claiming that day, and a lot of people around the world are doing the same for May 19th. So we're claiming Malcolm X Day. So join us in Atlanta, 2857 Main Street. That's the Core Total Body Spa. We're going to be going. It's going to be a day of education, of entertainment, and of enlightenment. So we need to come together on that day. Join us on May 19th. I'm going to talk about it a little bit this Thursday on Too Raw for TV. So join us then at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, blogtalkradio.com/Too Raw for TV. Call in 516-453-9174. blogtalkradio.com/Too Raw for TV. So today we have broken the curse of childhood trauma. Childhood trauma is no more. No more childhood trauma. No more. We dealt with it. We dealt with it. And if you need somebody to talk to, if you need an ancestor to talk to about your childhood trauma, you can talk to me. You can talk to me. Hit me up on the inbox. Let's talk, because we all have things that we have to deal with, and I am open to help humanity, i.e. black people, heal. So let's get it. So I encourage everybody to stay vigilant, be aware, Black supremacy.